Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us in this midday, depending on where you are in the country. It's noon here in Makokata, Iowa, where Blue Nine is headquartered. I see we have a couple attendees in the room. We're just going to give this just a couple more minutes to see if anyone is going to pop on and join us today. If not, we will be recording this, and it'll be available on our Facebook channel, our YouTube channel, all that later on, if not today, later on this week. And behind the scenes, I don't know if you can see her, we do have Caitlin Canada, who's also joining us down from Florida.
Hi guys, it's definitely afternoon down here for me.
Probably a little warmer down there than it is here today, too.
Yeah, we are heading into summer already.
Heading into summer. It is. Oh, my weather app doesn't want to load. It's like gloomy and rainy here today, but we need the rain, so it's all right.
Okay, I
Awesome. We've
think
got some people popping in here. Thank you all for joining us. We're going to give it just another minute. Cool. All right. It is officially noon. I will get us kicked off here. Thank you guys again for all joining us. We know as business owners how busy life gets when you're trying to run a business. So we're going to be very conscious of your time and jam-pack this full of information that we hope you guys can run with. Because at the end of the day, your success is our success. So we're here to support you to succeed. We want to set you up for success just like we would with any dogs that we're working with. So I'm Jess Ocon. I am with Blue Nine Pet Products. I handle all of our outside sales and trade shows. So there's a good chance you have met me in person. And if you haven't, next time you're at a trade show or a conference or give us a call, be sure to say hello. And Caitlin, I'll give you a minute to introduce yourself.
Hi, my name's Caitlin. I work remote down here in Florida, but I'm also out at trade shows, and you'll also be talking to me a little bit. I see, Steven, that you can't hear anything. Is anyone else having that same problem?
Thanks for the heads up. Yeah, let us know if there's any technical difficulties, you guys, on your end, guys.
Okay, everyone else can hear fine, Steven. Maybe check your mic and audio settings on your end. But I just wanted to show you guys a little bit of what Jess and I look like before we go back to our little slideshow presentation. Sorry, Stephen, I
Hello.
too have a lot of problems with working these things.
Yeah, we are well informed on technical difficulties here at the Blue Nine office. So today is kind of an introduction to this series that we're going to be doing. It's going to be all centered on business to business kind of information. So there won't be any training demos. There won't be any dogs here. I mean, we can always bring in a dog to say hello, but the point is really to get you guys set up for success through your product sales and through specifically our product sales in your business. So we're going to talk about boosting your vet business with revenue with our proven tools. So why do people want to buy from you? It's because you're their expert. You're their source of resource for services. You're their source of resource for information, and they trust you. Most of your clients don't know us. They don't know me. They don't know Caitlin. They don't know our awesome demo dogs. And they don't have the same level of like buy in with us. So that's why we really want to set you guys up for success as being the experts on our products so that you can resell them and be the expert for your clients. Because at the end of the day, they want to buy what you're going to recommend to them. When in my training experience, if my client said, "Hey, what do I need for my dogs?" and I was like, "Here's the list," they just bought it. So why wouldn't I put that like list together to be able to have them sell it directly and take the guesswork out of the customer, right? They're already thinking about training their dog and all of the management and all of the new things that they're learning with you as their trainer or their daycare or their groomer or whoever whatever role you play in that dog's life, um, Take out the guesswork for it. Make it simple. We love packages. We love puppy packs. We love kitting all of our things out together. And thanks for Caitlin for being our slide master back there. So first and foremost, as you guys, I'm sure all know, the KLIMB is our core flagship product. It is a dog training platform. If you're here, I'm sure you're already well versed and aware of how awesome the KLIMB is. And why it's so great is because it does help dogs learn faster. If we think back to the circus days, elevating animals on wine barrels or whiskey barrels back then, it actually elevated the animal, decreasing their distraction level and increasing their focus, very similarly to putting a student behind the desk. So if we're setting our dogs up to be in a learning mindset, we're going to be able to get faster results from our training. Also helps dogs stay calmer, gives them something to focus on, quiet their feet. They need to stay on this platform. That is their job for the moment. So you keep their focus, you keep that arousal level low, and we're going to get faster results. So it's a win-win-win. And then, of course, using platforms just adds more structure to your training, whether you're running group classes, private lessons, play groups in a daycare boarding world, or if you're using it in lobbies at veterinary hospitals. The KLIMB just adds that structure that so many dogs and people really need. We'll go on to the next slide here, which I believe is going to be on our balance harness. Absolutely. So the balance harness is the number one no pull front clip attachment harness on the market. 8 years in a row, we consistently get those number one ratings. We just actually found one that was published last week from Spruce Pets that rated us number one. Business Insider, Whole Dog Journal. I could keep going on how awesome the press is and their representation of us. But really, I just believe in our products. So the balance harness has 6 points of adjustment, giving you that really custom fit for any sized or shaped dogs. So think of those really block-headed rescue dogs, some of your bully breeds, or your kind of really slender and long, more border collie body types. We can get a really custom fit regardless of the dog. You have both a front clip and a rear attachment point, which means that you have versatility in that harness. So the way that I use it is obviously front clip means we're doing something working, we're focused, I need a dog and a heel. We are actively teaching loose leash walking. And then once my dog has those manners, I switch to the back clip. That's become a cue in itself for my dogs. That means we're hiking, we're tracking, we're doing anything, go out in front of me, go be a dog. And I know that there's still going to be no pressure on your trachea, no chafing, any of the things that would make my dog uncomfortable. And most importantly, in my opinion, is that the balance harness does not restrict shoulder movement. So just if I was wearing a backpack for the entire duration of my life, I wouldn't be able to raise my hands above my head. That would cause shoulder injuries long term. So a lot of front clip attachment harness that cut across the dog's chest this way. They impede that range of motion, which can cause long-term shoulder injuries, gait problems, etc. So the balance harness maintains that full range of motion, as well as a really open airflow. So especially going into the summer months, whether you're down in swampy Florida or you're up here in the hot and humid Iowa as well, or in the deserts of Texas, Arizona, there's going to be a lot less material on your dog, which is going to help keep them cool in these summer months when we're out hiking and tracking and doing all of the fun things that we do with our dogs. So we're going to kind of go into a quick little bit of like how trainers are using them, how pet boarding and daycare facilities are using them. I will encourage any of our attendees now, please feel free to drop your questions in the chat or in the Q&A box. I have a tendency to kind of fly through things. So if you want a little bit more information or you want me to add on to whatever we're talking about, feel free to raise your hand, drop it in the chat, drop it in the Q&A box. Where we are monitoring those. So how trainers are using the KLIMBs. We're building the KLIMB into their existing curriculum and KLIMB price, or class price, I'm sorry. So what I mean by that is, let's use group classes as an example. There's no real curriculum changes that need to happen, right? I can just plug and play. Let's say I'm doing a group class of 8 students, give each student a station or a KLIMB to work with, and incorporate that into their group class price so that they go home with the KLIMB. So what I mean by that is I'm going to use very easy numbers here. Let's say my original group class price is $150 for 6 weeks of class. What I'm going to do is offer a the same 6 weeks of group classes, but I'm going to offer it at, let's say, $350. And what they're going to get out of those $350 is just all of the tools and equipment that you're going to use in that class, which includes a climb, let's say it includes a treat pouch, it includes a bag of treats, a poop bag, whatever you want to do to offer in that, like, let's call it a school supply set. So when your students come in to start classes with you, you say, hey, here's all your school supplies, just like our students get at the middle of summer. Here's what you're going to need for the next class. And you got to go run out and buy your folders and everything. We should be training our clients to do the same thing with their dogs. There is training equipment that we need to use, and whatever you're using in class, we know that if we send that home with our pet parents, there's going to be more consistency for the dog, more consistency for the human, which means that they're going to get better results, which means your training is going to be more efficient. You're going to get that word of mouth. You're going to get that client retention, and you're overall going to have better results, happier clients, happier dogs. Using the climbs in, again, a group class situation. Oops, sorry, go back one more. Here, thanks, Caitlin. Using the climbs in classes also helps increase the learning and distraction levels. So typically when I have 8 students coming in for a group class, especially a young puppy class or like a level 1 where you have green dogs and green pet parents, where all dogs are at the end of their leashes and everybody's just running around in chaos and the dogs are excited and the humans don't know what they're doing and you're dropping leashes. We're going to control that chaos a little bit more with using the climb. So being able to send each human and dog to a station, get the dog up on the platform, that means they're going to be more focused on their handler and less focused on the other dogs in class. Again, it all goes into the results. And then using the balance harness in combination with the climb to teach loose leash walking skills. I love to use platforms as kind of like lily pad training and helping the owners understand like the treat zone or the reward zone should be when your dog is in that platform. So you have a visual of where that dog should be rewarded. And then we take a few steps, go to the next one, and then we can start to fade it out so that the humans also understand the mechanics. Thanks, Caitlin. You go to the next slide.
Hang on. It's thinking. There we go.
There we go. Technology rarely thinks as fast as I do. So, how are daycare and pet boarding and pet boarding facilities are using them? So, some of my favorite uses, of course, is playground equipment, but there's so much more that you can do with your climb to increase your operational efficiencies, increase the management of crowds in your facility, and just overall make a better, more thoughtful experience for the dogs, which goes into impulse control, which is going to increase their manners and behavior in the playgroups as well. So at drop-offs to reduce stress during transitions. So think of your lobby right now, whether you have a training facility, daycare, boarding, grooming, vet, whatever your lobby looks like. Where are the dogs when the humans are trying to check in? So example, checking in for boarding and my dog has medications, I need really undivided attention with the receptionist so that I can explain what all the medications are. And if my dog is sniffing or trying to go steal treats off your retail wall or going to lift a leg somewhere, then I'm distracted, and that's when misinformation happens. So if we have a climb or a platform next to our reception desk where the dogs can get up on top of there, hold their stay for a couple minutes, or it's easier for the human to then drop a couple cookies and keep their dog there, then the check-in process and the communication between the humans becomes a lot more efficient, a lot faster, which means your clients are going to have a smoother check-in process. Just like going to a hotel, you really want that smooth and seamless process to create that like robust hospitality experience. Using the climbs for enrichment or trading add-ons. This is an area where you can add that as a profit building service. So saying, hey, we're going to do some impulse control on our climbs today, or adding enrichment activities with your climbs. That gives you the opportunity to go into something like an elevated daycare experience where we can increase our profits and not really increase the time it takes with us with those dogs. We're just kind of plugging it into our regular programming. And if you guys have questions on that, that's a whole separate webinar and conversation, which we'll get into later on in this series. And then, of course, using the climbs in our playrooms to build different configurations. One of the things that I love about this is not only does it keep the dogs engaged because of the novel structures, it also keeps your staff engaged. It gives them something to take some ownership on and kind of get that like creative building block outlet out of like, let's do a pyramid. And then we're going to switch playgroups, and maybe small dogs like having more single climbs, and the big dogs like having the bigger structures that they can run and tunnel under and do all of these things. So there's a lot of engagement in both your staff and in the dogs when we're switching up the essentially the structure of the climbs. And again, just a reminder, if anyone has any questions or wants to drop any comments, please feel free to do so. We appreciate all of you taking your time out of your day to be here with us. And then lastly, how are retail stores using them? This is obvious, right? You guys are selling them if you have a retail store. But we have spent a lot of time on the back end, especially around the balance harness of how do we position it for um, ease in your store, right? You want to plug and play. I just want to like one click buy. I don't want to have to think about what are the best selling colors, harness sizes, uh what all the things that like are kind of like a barrier to entry when it comes to starting your retail. So a lot of our dog trainer clients, for example, they'll say, "Hey, you should go buy the balance harness," and then they'll send them back to our website or send them to Amazon or send them to wherever to buy it. And that, I mean, thank you. We appreciate that, but then you're leaving money on the table there. So we have developed this point of purchase starter kit. So a pop display is what they're called in the retail world, that has everything that you need to get going with the balance harness line. We've done all of our homework as far as what the best selling sizes are, what the best selling colors are. We've got all the matching leashes, the collars, the treat pouches to go along with it. So this is a really easy starter kit for you to just say, okay, one click buy, I'm going to give this a go, pop it up in the corner of your training space, your retail space, or your daycare facility space, and say, all right, we are now balance harness retailers, and we're going to help. It's on the other side of the display. You can't see it, but we even built in like a harness measuring station with a QR code so that your customers can just scan that QR code, check out the fitting video, and kind of self-help. And then the other part that we thought was really important was adding this drawers for storage below. We found that one of the barriers to purchase on a retail side was where do you store extra inventory? So we built it right into for you there. Those drawers on the bottom kind of acts like going to a shoe store. If you're looking for extra sizes, you can just pull that drawer down on the bottom and all of your back inventory is going to be there. So no need to have extra storage space, extra racks, things like that. So that's on the balance harness. On the KLIMBs, as far as retail, obviously they take up a little bit of a bigger footprint, but they do stack really nicely. And we find that the KLIMBs do best incorporated as part of a a package of some sort. So again, either kitting them up as like, here is your puppy starter kit, or here is your school supply set, and there is everything in there. We also offer like USB digital thumb drives that you can purchase and have available for sale as part of that kit. If you guys are curious about how we sell bundles and kits, check out our shop page on our website. We have a lot of great examples that are, again, what we have found to be our best-selling product combinations of what people independently add to our carts. And then we're taking that information and saying, okay, here's a bundle based off of our customer shopping habits, and here's, an extra savings on that or something. And we want that to translate all the way through to you guys as our retailers and essentially our outside sales force. Any questions or anything there? I know I kind of dropped a lot there, but I think we good. Cool. All right. So if you're not already one of our wholesalers, super easy process. If you jump on our website, there is a tab for wholesale info you can drop down. There's a quick application that we need some basic information like your tax ID number, your resale certificate, and then our initial stocking order. This is where we're going to kind of get into a little of the nitty-gritty numbers here. Our initial stocking order is $400. It's a really low minimum initial stocking order to kind of get you started in the process. That is kind of our introductory pricing and rates. And just kind of scrolling through the names here, I know a lot of you guys that are in attendance are already our existing customers, so you don't even have to worry about that initial stocking order. You have no minimums on reordering. We are restructuring our wholesale pricing here, which means our existing wholesalers pricing will likely be updated, but it'll all be updated in your favor. We were very conscious of making sure that we left you guys the margins that you need in order to be successful in your retail again. And I'm just going to address a question here. Stephen, I would love to be selling your products, but I'm in the UK. There are stock and shipping cost issues, of course. What would you advise? Stefan, sorry, I don't know how to pronounce your name. Drop your email address in the chat there, and Caitlin and I will reach out to you directly. We obviously, with all of our international resellers, we will help you on shipping and see what we can do there. But we are always actively looking for new distributors. So please leave us your email address there, and Caitlin or I will reach out to you directly. Thank you. And Caitlin, can you make sure you copy that for us?
Yes.
Thanks. So thank you guys all for joining us today. This was just an introduction to our webinar series. As we go through the coming weeks and more webinars, we're going to be a lot more targeted as far as like, okay, this next webinar is going to be really specific for our trainers. Then we're going to do one that's really specific for pet boarding and daycare. There's going to be one that's going to be for retail. And we're really going to get down into the nitty gritty on how to increase your sales through products in each of those realms of the industry, if you will. So again, we appreciate you all so much for joining us today. Caitlin, do you have anything to add for today, or am I
I do
missing
have
anything?
I do have one thing I want to encourage everybody. Again, thank you for being here. We're doing these for you guys. So we want to make sure that we're giving you the information that you want to be hearing, things that you're interested in. So if there's certain things you want us to cover, please shoot us an email or leave it in the chat anywhere. Just let us know what you want to hear so that we can be tailoring our content to you guys who are our most important people.
Yeah, great point, Caitlin. Thanks for that. And Caitlin's 100% right. We are here for you, and we are really looking forward to working a lot more closely with our B2B customers. It's been a little bit of a project on my end to have more FaceTime with you guys all, because I'm here to support you. Caitlin's here to support you, and overall, Blue Nine wants you guys to be successful. So if there's anything that you need or any questions you have, feel free to reach out.
Awesome. We do have a couple more comments coming in, so I'm just going to leave the meeting open so they can get their stuff in before we close this out.
Awesome. Thank you guys again so much for being here. Yes, well done, fast, clean, and a great session. We know you're all busy. We're busy too, so we will keep it short and sweet, just like the best kind of training session.
Okay. Sarah, we'll make sure that we include some of that information on our trainers specific webinar coming up.
Yeah, the fitness classes takes a little bit more finesse. We have a lot of resources for that. So stay tuned for our next webinar, which I believe is 2 weeks from today, Caitlin.
Yes, 2 weeks from today, same time, I believe.
So 2 weeks from today, same time, same place. That will be all in training, and we will address your questions there, Sarah, on teaching fitness classes with the climbs.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody.
Have a great day.